I don't have a manager. I used to work for a particularly large ISP doing tech support. One day the guy working next to me was dealing with a particularly rude business customer. The business customers were usually treated like kings, but this guy was having a particularly hard time even getting a word in. Eventually he put up his hand to motion the supervisor come talk to the customer. Right then the owner of the company happened to be walking by with another one of the execs. I met the guy a few times at the company's social events, and he is a really down-to-earth employee-friendly boss. He asked what the issue was with his customer, and after it was explained he took the headset and picked up the line. After listening for about 4 to 5 minutes he said very flatly, "That's never going to happen, especially not when you have an attitude like a 13-year-old girl." Again listening for a minute before he said, "I don't have a manager. I own this company and I don't have to listen to this ST from an a-hole like you, and neither do my employees. I'm terminating your account with us." He hung up and I watched him disable this guy's account and add a note to the file. "Customer is an a-hole. Do not reinstate account, boss." Then he just handed back the headset and carried on about his day. Since so many people have asked, the issue the guy was going nuts about was something to do with a delay in testing for a fault on his line, something that is done by the phone company and not by the ISP. We literally have nothing to do with it other than submitting the request for testing to them. Good boss. Tech support must suck, but it probably sucks a bit less with a boss like that. Think it depends where you work and the type of industry, because I work in tech support and it's the most enjoyable job I've ever had thus far. I work in technical support for one of the largest manufacturers of alarm systems in Africa, and our policy states that we do not engage with end users. That's for our distributors to worry about. Only certified alarm installers can contact us, and in the 6+ months I've been in my current position I've only ever had to deal with 3-ish banana holes. Most of the people who call are either friendly or just straight to the point, but very rarely are they rude. Edit, spelling. That is an awesome story. Not only because it shows that A, good bosses are out there, but B, the kind of loyalty it inspires. Also, I bet your boss was in high spirits after this for at least a week. That is the kind of cheesecake you dream of doing. I am the boss, you banana. Ma ha 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 ha. Sometimes, bosses don't have your back, and gladly throw you to the lions in order to appease the customer. Other times, bosses do have your back, and it's absolutely glorious. A colleague of mine once said, "People leave bosses, not companies." Lol, I manage a business, and something like this happened the other day where a customer called and had a ridiculous made-up complaint, and I just hung up on the woman after telling her I had no interest in continuing to speak to her. She called back and I just hung up on her again. Was pretty funny. A lot of people seems to take the phrase customer is king literally. They tend to forget that throughout history, bad kings most of the time were assassinated. FWD, I need you to stop my employee from working immediately. In keeping with my tendency to share these stories immediately when I'm reminded of them, I must confess that I posted this once already as a comment in /r/gaming without even thinking of you guys. Sorry about that. What follows is a story that comes from my first few months at medium-sized company, and a story about the time I poisoned a user. So anyway, I was a tier 1 phone jockey, and this was my first adult job after college. So you can imagine how surprised and nervous I was when one day I get an email with the subject line FWD, disable Facebook now. It was written just like that in all caps, 2, or maybe 3, exclamation points. Inside, there was a long message chain containing an extended rant from our marketing executive, MKT, sent to the CEO, replied to, forwarded to the CIO, replied to, forwarded to my manager, and then kicked down to me with no explanation. My manager did this kind of thing a lot. Rather than open a ticket in the ticketing system, he insisted we use a certain way, or explain anything in his emails. He would simply forward us an email chain of a conversation he'd been having with some store or department manager, some executive, or some vendor, and we'd have to read through all of it to figure out what he wanted. This email was one of those, and since it had come from people up the chain from him, I had to read through all of his pathetic groveling and deferential bootlicking to reach the part where he made his unqualified promises about what I'll do in how much time. Eventually, I surmised the following: MKT is upset that his employee employees are spending work time on social media. He has decided that this is all IT's fault. He wants social media disabled on all computers. He sent this complaint to the CEO, because it's not good enough to contact IT and open a ticket to get something done. He has to try to get someone fired while he's at it. Okay, fine. We actually had WebSense, so I wrote up a ticket, opened up the admin console in WebSense, and added Facebook's URL to the blacklist. Done and done. I replied to the message chain and let the executives know that we're good. Immediately I got hammered with replies from the CEO, my manager, and MKT, who had made the request. They all wanted to know why I disabled Facebook on their machines. Exercising all the restraint I had, I apologized and explained that when they said disable Facebook on all computers, I didn't realize that they meant for there to be exceptions to the rule. I grabbed one of our tier 3 guys and he helped me set up Mac filtering in WebSense. Made a group for the executives and managers to be accepted from the social media blackout, and then blocked Twitter, Instagram, and all the other common social media sites while we were at it. Thinking the issue has now been properly dealt with, I updated the executives, who seemed placated, updated the ticket, and then closed it. 15 minutes later, a red-faced young woman, SMM, appeared in the IT office. She's from marketing and was upset because she couldn't reach Facebook or Twitter. I gently explained that those had just been blocked at the request of her department's exec. SMM, but you're not supposed to block me. I'm a social media manager. It's my job to be on Facebook. Now I can't work. Oh, hang on. I placed a quick speakerphone call to MKT and got his admin assistant, MKT's office. Yeah, can I speak with MKT? It's about the Facebook blackout he requested. Oh yeah, he's pretty upset about that. Of course. Can I speak to him? After a minute, she got him on the line. MKT, Rathwood. Glad you finally got it right. Sir? SMM is in my office right now. MKT, so? Tell her to get back to work. Sir? She can't. She says it's her job to run the company's social media pages and she can't work now because of the block. Do I have your permission to unblock her? MKT. MKT, you mean we are paying someone to be on Facebook? She works for your department, sir. MKT, unblock her for now, and tell her to come see me in my office. Okay. I turned to look at SMM, and she was already walking out. Hey, are you alright? She turned back to me. SMM, I'm fine. This is the third time this month that Dinosaur has forgotten that I work here. I'm used to explaining my job to him. Sounds about right. I don't think I've ever seen a rule come down from on high that didn't need immediate widespread exceptions to be made to allow people to do their jobs. And more importantly, not to inconvenience the important people, even if they have no legitimate need for those exceptions. And GT, I'm used to explaining my job to him. I legitimately feel bad for SMM. I know, this just seems kind of sad for her. It would almost seem like a better plan to just accept the blocking anyway, since clearly the department head isn't gonna notice that she's stopped. Frown. The plot twist is that the only person MKT actually saw on Facebook was the social media lady. I'd bet money on it. You do know that at some point he's going to notice that she's doing things on Facebook and will contact the CEO again about blocking Facebook. But then, assuming Op remembers, he can just shoot back at everyone who is required to have social media access for their job has it. Also the managers and CEOs. I work in education and my offices will regularly tweet out things that link to Facebook. However, we are blocked from using it. At my previous job, social media was blocked, / yet we still had to have a corporate mandated email signature, // including a link to the company's Twitter handle. Mitigated somewhat by the fact that we had access to a non-corp Wi-Fi network for our personal devices that didn't block social media. Also mitigated by the sysadmin in our local office deliberately acting dumb and allowing us to control/edit ourselves. Buddy, you picked the wrong people to try and strong arm. Greetings, all. This one is from way back when, about 6 years ago now, when I was in an entirely different career and halfway around the world. No salad dressing this time, and I'm sure you're all disappointed. On a certain class of military warship, there is a place. The bridge may be in control of where the ship goes, but Damage Control Central is in charge of how fast it is getting there and whether or not it arrives in one piece. It's run by a high-ranking officer from Reactor Department, EU, and his two cronies, one that monitors the ship's water usage and one that monitors the ship's electrical usage. These three people can bring 97k plus tons of steel and sadness to a halt. Behind them are a small pile of engineering folk, literally the ship's tech support branch. People could call DCC and report a problem, from an outlight to a fire, and between all of us in there, we had the knowledge, skill, authority, and political clout to get a response team out. A lot of people didn't know what kind of authority DCC held, or exactly who they were talking to when they called down. It's made for some very entertaining conversations. One evening, the engineering folk get a call. One female sailor picks it up and naturally, we all listen in, because if it's a fire or something, we all need to respond as rapidly as possible. From our POV, this is how the conversation goes. And GT, Eng, DCC, Eng speaking. And GT, Eng, the heater doesn't work. And GT, Eng, oh, yeah, that's normal. And GT, Eng, no, we can't turn it up. And GT, Eng, what? No, we can't replace it, we're in the middle of the Persian Gulf. Where are we going to get another one? And GT, Eng, look, it works fine. Take shorter showers. And GT, Eng, your division can put in a request for a bigger one when we get back to home port, but you're not getting one now. And GT, Eng, yeah, no, I'm not ordering one. Placing those things is beyond the scope of what we're allowed to do underway. And GT, Eng, because policy. And GT, Eng, okay, you do that. We'll be waiting. Make sure you request permission to enter. With that, she hangs up. Naturally, we're all staring. Grins at us. And GT, Eng, game face is on, this one is gonna be good. Sir, I am sorry in advance. And GT, you kidding? This zucchini is what makes watch worthwhile. We sit back and put on our best I hate everything faces and wait. Not 15 minutes later, the door thuds open. In walks, with permission, the hero of this little story, a very low-ranking punk, LRP, who thinks he's hot cheesecake because he does maintenance on airplanes instead of steam pipes. With him is his immediate supervisor, LPO, a gentleman of my rank, and their divisional officer, Devo, a wee young lieutenant. Devo is all fired up because how dare engineering not fix his guy's problem, and he makes a beeline for the engineering folk. This path will, briefly, place him between Neu and a panel that, by the order of people with a rank I could never hope to achieve in my life, the EU is not allowed to be obscured from. They have to be able to see it, at all times. I wait until the merry little band is almost in front of the EU before I speak up. And GT, me, sir, please go around, the EU needs to be able to see that panel. And GT, Devo, I will walk where I zucchini well. He stops. Because someone of approximately double his rank, 4 times his time in service and significantly crankier is staring him down. All of the fire leaves Devo in an instant. Which, honestly, is exactly what I wanted. When high-ranking people get fired up, it's usually for a good reason. When baby Devos get fired up, everyone in their general vicinity is stupider for witnessing their temper tantrum. Baby Devos get much more done when they're calm. LPO realizes that a commander is sitting there and nearly poops himself. LRP is completely oblivious. They walk back around our desks, not nearly as grudgingly as they could have, and take the slightly longer route to the engineering folk, who are having the time of their lives, because this butternut circus is well underway and they haven't had to even do anything yet. Eng spins around, her hands on the arms of her chair, a very pleasant, blank smile on her face. And GT, Devo, are you the one that won't fix my guy's showers? And GT, Eng, the showers aren't broken, sir. Did he tell you what his complaint was? LPO nearly cringes out of his skin. Because, no, obviously what happened is that LRP went and bitched at LPO that those assholes in engineering said they won't fix the broken showers, and LPO immediately went to his office to find some backup and grabbed Devo. By the way, we're all grinning at him, LPO knows he is in for the banana reaming of his life. Devo, however, looks to LRP for an explanation. The little nematode puffs up, very pleased to have the floor, and an audience to boot. At least two very important officers get to hear his sound reasoning for calling down to the tech line. I sit there wishing popcorn was allowed in DCC. And GT, LRP, well, the hot water heater in the head can't keep up with the entire division when we all shower in the morning. And GT, does it put out hot water at all? And GT, LRP, well, yeah, when we all get up it works just fine. But as everyone takes their showers, it gets colder and colder. And GT, does it ever go completely cold? And GT, LRP, no, but with a bigger heater, we could all take as long of showers as we wanted without it running out. As GT, water control guy, showers should be limited to 5 minutes, you're wasting water. And GT, LRP, well, yeah, morning showers are pretty short, who wants to wake up early and shower? But when I take my second, longer shower in the evening, to relax after a long day of working, some teeny tiny sense of self-preservation kicks in and LRP shuts up and looks around. He is in a room full of people who play the food, shower, sleep, pick 2 game on a daily basis. Every single person in this room, including his backup, is staring at him with either full derision or outright hostility. Except Eng. She's still smiling her blank, polite, I have been in the retail trenches and am dead inside smile. I may be in love. And GT, sir, you can see why I denied his request. LPO, you may want to remind your guys that, despite being surrounded with water, there is a limit on how much fresh water we can make in a day and that long showers should be saved for import. Was there anything else I can help you all with? And GT, Devo, no, I think I've heard enough. You two, my office. Now. They leave. LPO looks close to tears or shoving LRP out a porthole. Devo is full of now justified wrath. LRP still looks vaguely bemused as to why his excellent argument didn't sway us all to his side. The door shuts. All of us immediately put our heads on our desk and cry with laughter. Someone hands Eng an IOU for drinks at the next port. Eng's supervisor drafts an email to the ship's mid-tier leadership that not waking up early enough to get a hot shower is not a reason to request a new hot water heater and that water on board is limited. No details are provided and everyone eagerly looks forward to the rumor mill as people try and figure out what spawned that particular reminder. The engine's turn. The ship chugs on. Edit, thanks to /u/Robats for the gold. And GT, you two, my office. Now. Our sweet justice. Oh, yes. Props to Devo, actually, not all of them are willing to stand up for their people. He just should have gotten some details before he came down. Hilarious. Also, I didn't realize how much the military is like Victorian high society. So the Earl approaches the Duke to discuss the state of the folly on the western grounds, but in doing so he passes behind the King, which is simply not done. That's a pretty good comparison, actually. And to the weird superstitions. And GT, except Eng. She's still smiling her blank, polite, I have been in the retail trenches and am dead inside smile. This was my favorite part, and quite accurate. Source, former retail employee, am dead inside. And people don't know how to handle it outside of retail. In a store, you expect everyone to be automatons, but outside of one, it throws people straight into uncanny valley. I love it. I've only spent 6 mo on a ship. Yeah, the DC guys were treated as emissaries of the gods. The ITs on the other hand. The ITs get so much more banana than they deserve, especially the poor guys running the ship's internet. I felt bad, because some of our drills would drop power to their off-ship links and it was always a zucchini storm for them. Butter bars. Given too much power and no knowledge. Always fun to see them taken down a notch. God. Yes. I've met some good ones, but the vast majority. Yeah, no. Fun fact, people in my department were trained, from very early on, to question every order an officer gave them and to have the balls to say I'm not doing that, because, reason here, we had to, or people would die. Because even officers make mistakes, and our officers expected it. He kind of didn't always remember to flip the switch off when dealing with officers outside the division. It has resulted in some absolutely fascinating morning training.